Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? And hope we are fine. Hope we are safe. In today's class, we want to look at how to perform basic calculations in Excel, in Microsoft Office Excel. In today's lesson, we will be using Microsoft Office 2016. Any of the Microsoft Office Excel version you have can work, but I'm going to use 2016 version. So if you have the 2019, the most recent one, good. If you have the 2013, the one that's a bit older, good. It's going to work. Alright, so don't panic if you don't have it in your computer, if you don't have the same version I have. Alright, so we want to perform basic calculation. Let's get started. But first, let's look at some of our objectives for today. First, we want to identify how to use the sum function, then identify how to use the average function. We are going to see how to apply both the sum and the average functions to our work in Excel. Now I'm going to switch to my Excel sheets. This is my Excel sheet, and I want you to look at it closely. It has some data that already been typed into it. Okay, so you're going to do something for me. You can I'm going to also send this to you to download it. That means you can have it right in your computer, exactly what I have here, or you can take your time to type every necessary thing that you need to type. You can type everything you have here to your own computer and to your own Excel worksheet. It's still going to work. So if you look at this, you have in this data here, we have sales for the first 6 months of the year, and these are salespersons in this organization. All right, so here this is Joseph, Mary, Daniel, Miriam, Kunle, John, Sunny, Frank, Joel, Jacinta, Fumi, Bola. All these are they are salespersons that work in an organization. Okay, so to understand this data properly, I would like you to look at January, and in the month of January, Joseph sold 2,000. Okay, then in February he sold 4,000, and in March 5,000, in April 6,500, then in May 10,000, and in June 6,500. So same thing for every other person here. Mary, Daniel, they all have the amount they sold for a particular month. All right, now this is what the data is about. Okay, today we want to I told you we're going to look at how to calculate our total, use the sum, and how to check um, and how to apply the average to our work. So this must not be this sum and average you're going to be looking at today is not going to be the only thing you're supposed to do. And you can apply sum and average to different kinds of Excel calculations. Okay, so want you to be able to understand how to use it and apply it when and where necessary. All right, okay, now let's get started. On the column total, where you have total, now the total is to tell us the sum every um every sale made by Joseph. That's what this column would tell us. So we're going to add everything from January to June. Now, if we have to use our head to start doing that, it's not ideal because we could even run an error sometimes. So it's better for you to use Excel to do those calculations. And this is how we're going to do that. In Excel, remember every calculation begin with what? an equal to sign. So I'm going to type that equal to sign first. When Excel sees your equal to sign, it knows you want to start a calculation. So that's what it does in its own brain. Start thinking, oh, they want to do a calculation right now. Okay, get everything ready for this person. All right, that's what the equal to sign has done. Now, the equal to sign, we are going to now type in the function sum, S-U-M, sum. Now, when I do that, I'm going to bring out I'm going to type my open bracket. The open bracket would indicate what will go into this function. Okay, so and now I need you to understand also that we can't type numbers. That means the direct numbers that contained in the cell. It's not what you need. You need the cell address of every data you have or you're working with. Okay, now this is the cell address. We want the cell address for January, the first one, January. Now the cell address for January is what? Who can guess? C4. All right, C4. So I'm going to type C4. See, there is a box, binding box on it, telling you that, yeah, that is the cell. That means I made the right selection. I want you to do yours. Do yours, do yours, do yours. Thank you. All right, you should have done it by now, right? Good. If you haven't, you can pause the video and go back. All right, you can always do that. Now, we need the cell address of the last data. Now, the first data is January and the last data is June. Now, before we get to the cell address of the last data, you are going to type in, just look at this part here. Look at where I am typing. I'd like you to make sure you don't miss anything there. All right. Now, I'm going to place this symbol, this sign. All right. Can you see it? In mathematics, it's a ratio sign. Okay. It's a ratio sign. In English, it's usually your full column. Okay. So you should type that there. The key of that is close to your L key on your regular keyboard. Okay, it's close to the L key. That means after the L key, that's the key. What you have to do is hold down Shift key and press that key once, then it's going to appear. I hope you should have done that by now. Now, when you get that, you are going to now type the last cell. This means you're going to type the last cell. The last cell is going to be H what? H4. So it's H4. H4 is the last cell, that which is the June cell. I'm going to type that now, H4. Immediately I type that correctly, it's going to place a longer cell containing all the areas that would be calculated or summed up at the end of the day. So once I do that, I would like to close the brackets with a Shift 0 to close my bracket. Now once I do that, I can now press what? Enter key. Once I do that, I should get this, right? I should have this right there. I have calculated my total. All right, that is good. We're going to do the same thing now. We're going to try and do the same thing for average. Okay, for average. Now, this is my average. I'm going to use another means of typing. I could as well come here and type equal to average, right? And select my average there. Then I'll type the cell, right? The cell of January will be what? C what? C4. Then that ratio symbol, then I have H4, then I can close it, then press enter, then I'll get my average. Okay, this would be my average. But I want to show you how to achieve sum, calculating sum in another way. All right, another way. So I'm going to scroll this down a bit to the bottom part where I have my the bottom part where I have total and average. Now, another way you can calculate your sum, I'm going to go to something we call what? Look at, come to the top. We have something called auto sum. Now I'm going to click auto sum under January. Okay, I'm going to do that now. See what happens. It selects everything for you, assuming in the intelligence of Excel, it thinks that you need to calculate everything under January. That's what it does. Auto sum. You don't need to type anything, do you? No. So all I have to do is click hold my first data and drag to the last data. Just that is all, and press enter. You don't need to type sum equal to sum, everything. It types everything for you. All you have to do is click and drag down and select it. Now after I do that, I'm going to press enter, then it will calculate my total for what? The month of January. Same thing for average. Now for average, I'm going to go down to where the auto sum also on my home tab. Now the auto sum, remember auto sum is on the home tab. Now when I get to the auto sum, instead of clicking on auto sum, I'm going to click on the arrow on the side of auto sum to get average. You see, this is not auto average. The other one is auto sum. This is auto average. So I'm going to click on average. Now immediately I do that. All right, now I can come to January and click hold and drag to what? I'll click from Joseph to Bola for January. Now once I do that and press what? We can guess again. Enter. Once I press enter, I have my average for the month of January. Okay, this is how you do your basic calculations of sum and average. Now, there's one more thing I'd like to show you, and it's something we call the what? The autofill command. Now, the autofill action allows you to drag automatically. That means it saves you the stress of doing all the calculation one by one, over and over again. So to avoid that, you have to click on where you have total. I would like you to do that right now. Click on total for Joseph. Now, are you there? Good. Now, bring your mouse. You see, I have a big plus sign there, right? The big plus, right? Big plus, yeah. Now, I'm going to bring that mouse, that insertion mouse, that thing moving. I'm going to take it to the bottom right of my total. I'll bring it there now. It's going to switch from a white cross to a black cross, or from fatter cross to a slimmer cross. When it changes, we will do something. Now watch this. I'll bring it closely. See, it switched from the white cross to the black cross. So immediately it switches, I will just click and hold down my click and drag to all the areas I want the same kind of calculations to take place, and release my mouse. I'll release my click. When I do that, I'll get this. This action is the autofill action. I don't have to do all my calculations repeatedly. That means I'll have to do it once, then do an autofill on the remaining. Beautiful job from Excel. Thank you if you can achieve this. I would like you to make sure you try this and make sure you get it. I'm going to do the same thing for average. Bring the mouse to where you have that tiny box. Now I'm going to tell you something. Every active cell, you should have been taught this by now. Every active cell has a tiny bit of that tiny dots. All right, if you look at it around there, okay. Now that tiny dot is called the fill handle. The fill handle. Fill handle is spelled this way. Fill handle. It shouldn't be difficult for you. Okay. The fill handle. All right. Now that fill handle, I'm going to remove that. That fill handle is what allows you to do your auto fill. So I'm going to click on that now and do another autofill. Switch from the white cross to the black cross and click and drag down. As easy as that. I'm done with my total and my average. Now I can interpret this data properly to anyone. I can say Joseph sold what? 34,000. 34,000 when in the from January to what? To June. Now if you look at, if I come down to Jacinta sold what? 46,200 in the month of what? From the month of January to the month of June. That's what Jacinta has sold. Okay, so that is how to interpret your data. In the average says that in the at every month from January to June, we have we rate the person based on the total amount that has been sold. The average is like saying everything that have been sold divided by the total number of months. How many months? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total divide by what? 6. I will get this. If you want to doubt if Excel is not intelligent enough, you do the calculation yourself. You could try and see. When you add these up, then divide it by 6, or when you get this, divide it by 6, you get this. All right, so that's your average. I hope this was very informative enough. I'm going to ask you some questions and I expect you to provide the answers on the comment section. Remember that when you're done with this video, I need you to answer a question on the comments section. Now, what is this question? I need you to tell us, type the answer to the question. Tell us, in the month of April, what is the total? In the month of April, what is the total? All right, do that now, and I'm going to answer you and see who has given us a better answer and who needs to improve on their own answers. Okay, I need to understand this data, and you have quiz after now. Take care of yourself, and I will see you next week.